Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel once again, and welcome back to the Labyrinth. So, right off the bat, I don't know if you noticed it with my recording of System Shock Radio yesterday, but my voice is a little bit scratchy, and hopefully I'm not coming down with something. If so, that would definitely suck, but still, we're going to power through it as much as we can and try to get things done here. But without further ado, let's get right into it. If this is your first episode of Dixie from Labyrinth, welcome. If not, welcome back. But if you are new here, what we do, with some exceptions, is we read poetry. We read some poems written by myself, as you can see here, and then we are reading some poems written by other poets. It's other prolific, notable, or at least interesting poets. It's with interesting poems and thus interesting stories to tell, and we try our best to analyze the poems and try to determine their meaning and how we can apply them to life. Because, of course, I'm a firm believer that art does imitate life, and especially in the case of poetry. Oftentimes, life can find itself reflected in poetry. So, if that is your kind of thing, please consider hitting that subscribe button, as well as leaving a like and a comment and sharing this video with your friends, of course. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So, this first one is called Old Papers. One day, while rummaging through my old things, I found some old papers. Some brought happy memories, like old school essays and projects. Others, not so much, like old diagnosis papers. But I don't throw them out, because each paper is significant, good or bad, happy or sad. Each one shaped me. You may call me a hoarder, and maybe you're right, but I'm a hoarder for knowledge and for experiences, and I'm taking my new papers and making them old. So, this could mean a couple different things. This could mean literal old papers, or as when you're going through your attic or wherever you keep your old things, and you find yourself like, oh, I remember when I did that, whether it be old stuff from school, like old papers or old art projects, stuff like that. Or you find some not so nice papers, such as papers that remind you of difficult times you went through in your life. But I feel like each paper, whether a physical paper or in a way, the papers here can also represent experiences, like things that you've been through, the experiences that you've been through, oftentimes shape us, oftentimes for better or for worse. There are some experiences that have impacted us positively. There's plenty that have impacted us negatively. There are plenty of positive things that impacted us negatively. There are plenty of negative things that have impacted us positively. So each and every piece of paper, each and every memory, each and every experience has its own story to share and its own lesson to be learned. And so we try our best to learn each lesson as we continue this thing called life, of course. But this next poem is called Raining a Lot Lately. It's been raining a lot lately. Almost every day. It seems like there's many gray clouds almost everywhere I go. So this one I actually wrote a little while ago, a few months ago. But it still applies, I feel like, because it's not always physical rain clouds, like the rain clouds that you see in the sky as it's a rainy day, but sometimes the metaphorical rain clouds, they have, the art and stuff of like the person walking around all sad and depressed with like the rain cloud above them. That's how it is sometimes. Oftentimes you'll see rain clouds, and it seems like everywhere you go, you're surrounded by rain clouds and by rain, and that things are just downpouring, and things seem tough, and the gray clouds are everywhere, and your mind almost seems cloudy as well. But every rain comes with its rainbow. Just remember that and keep that in mind. It's definitely easier said than done, but keep your head up, because that rainbow of yours is coming soon, and it'll make the rain all worth it. Plus, the rain waters the plants, of course. So keep that in mind as well. But this next one's called Imagination. Imagination is a powerful thing. Being able to create anything and everything. You can be anything and do anything. Go on adventures, rule as a monarch, or just drift away for a while, away from reality. Having an imagination is important, and children having imaginations are important. But imaginations can even carry over to adults. There are plenty of adults who have very, very fantastic imaginations that have created some very fantastic things. Why do you think we get things like superheroes or comic books or like Lord of the Rings, stuff like that? Because someone with the imagination, or multiple people with the imagination, had the ability to create and didn't let that flame of their imagination die out. And unfortunately, because life does what it does, and oftentimes even because of the people around us, oftentimes that spark, that imagination that we have, that we try to hold dear to us as we transition from our childhood into our adulthood, can often dissipate. And that's always the worst feeling, especially when you can feel that imagination slipping away. But hold on to that imagination, because as that imagination, even though it's imaginary, it's creative, and it may not seem like reality, oftentimes what you learn in your imagination, what you're able to create, can carry over to reality. And creative thinking is such a powerful tool. And it's something I've talked about before on the channel, how creativity is so powerful and so important. Being able to create, being able to imagine, and most importantly, being able to execute, with having the means and everything to execute. There are so many people who've had fantastic imaginations that have been snuffed out because of life, and so many what if stories. But so whatever imagination flame you have, don't let anybody put that out, because that imagination can be turned into a reality, and it can inspire other people to let their imaginations run wild as well. This next one's called If We Must Die, and this is by Claude McKay. If we must die, let it not be like hogs, hunted and penned in an inglorious spot, while round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock at our accursed lot. If we must die, oh let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain. Then even the monsters we defy shall be constrained to honor us through the dead. O kinsmen, we must meet the common foe. Though far outnumbered, let us show us brave, and for their 1,000 blows deal one death blow. What though before us lies the open grave? Like men will face the murderous, cowardly pack, pressed to the wall, dying but fighting back. So, right off the bat, this poem's a sonnet. It's been a little bit since we've had a sonnet here on the channel. Also, it follows the structure of a sonnet, where first and third line rhyme, second and fourth line rhyme, and then kind of continuing that throughout the poem as well. So, nice, we got a sonnet in here, but it's the message where things are very important within the poem. The message being that had to die nobly, to die fighting for a cause, and here it's implied physically, but it could be metaphorically, fighting for what you believe in, fighting for the future you want to see, and fighting for what you want to see. There'd be plenty of things that wouldn't be in place today if it wasn't for the people who fought and continue to fight for what they believed in. And is the world perfect that we live in nowadays? No. But there's plenty of things that people fought and died for, and they didn't die in vain. And as the poem is talking about, how if we must die, let it not be like hogs. We don't want in a way, I guess pathetic is a way. That's not necessarily the word I want to use, but in a way, I think it's a word that kind of makes sense here. We essentially want to die nobly. We want to die fighting for what we believe in, and we want to continue to fight for what we believe in, and continue fighting the good fight for for what we want to see. And that's essentially what Claude is describing here. Her again, it may be he literal. Well, it seems to be literal based off the rhetoric here, but even if it's not literal, also think about that. Will you fight for what you believe in is the question. But this last one is called Motto, and this is by Langston Hughes. Excuse me. I play it cool and dig all jive. That's the reason I stay alive. My motto, as I live and learn, is dig and be dug in return. Alright, so a bit on the shorter side, but I think there is surprisingly a lot to unpack here, and it's always interesting when it comes to certain poems how they're able to cram so much into such a little space. Hey, so I play cool and dig all jive. That's the reason I stay alive. Pretty much, in a way, perhaps saving face, perhaps going with the flow of life, and trying your best to be involved and and to continue to trying to learn as much as you can. That's kind of what I'm getting from it. And then this part, my motto as I live and learn is dig and be not hug in return. If you invest in something, if you invest physically, financially, monetarily, emotionally, into something, and reaping it in return, essentially. He dig and be dug in return. Think of it like planting a seed. You gotta dig up the ground and plant the seed, and it'll grow into a flower. It'll grow into some type of plant. It'll grow into produce, and it'll be dug in return. So, so continue to sow those seeds and have that harvest in a way, or at least a pretty garden, and based off of what you're digging. So, continue to play it cool and continue to do what you need to do, and life will do its thing, but you'll also do your thing, if that makes any sense. But that's kind of what I'm getting from this. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video, so you can see as soon as it drops. And let me know in the console your reaction to any of the poems I've read. Did you like these poems? Did you like my analysis of these poems? And what is your take on these poems here? But thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.